Hi, I'm Lisa Ross. I'm from Rosewood Magnet School, and I am the literacy coach. And I've been involved with the Learning Alliance since the very beginning with Debbie Dillon, before kind of the Learning Alliance was the Learning Alliance. So based on what we have learned from them, this is what this presentation is really about. So let's talk about first. So I don't really want this to be about all of my talking. So I want us to share a PD with the group, about a PD that was memorable, and tell us why it was memorable. Go ahead, Donna.
I can remember PD on conscious discipline, and we got up and we physically were involved doing the things that we were learning about.
Okay. Anyone else want to share?
I went to a Kagan training, and one of the things that's helpful about Kagan is that you do the stuff. So it's doing, and then they follow up. And so it's following up and checking that it's being put into practice.
Anyone else want to share?
I think we have to recognize the Learning Alliance,
Yes.
and when they have the institutes, and they invited the teachers at the museum, and we learned new strategies, and then teachers had to implement them in the classroom. And I could always, when I was involved in it, would see very much that it was implemented and effective.
I would second that with Kurt Wooten. Anything that I've done with Kurt Wooten is memorable.
What makes it memorable?
You were immersed in it, and you actually, same with Kagan, you participated, you did it, and it became internalized to where you could take it back.
I think too, when you're held accountable for how you actually do what you learn.
Okay,
Like someone's going to follow up and ask you how it went.
Yep.
So I really don't need to be up here talking because I think that you guys have captured almost everything that we've talked about. So PD to practice is really building relationships with those people as you're presenting, taking smaller chunks, time to practice and integrate the new information, feedback from the instructor or an expert, and model the new learnings. So when I look at this, what do you notice about this list? Is there anything you notice?
Like, that's how we scaffold instruction.
That's how we scaffold our instruction for our students, right? So it really did not dawn on me until today as I was writing this that, wow, really what we do in PD is really how we expect for our teachers to be teaching, or you to be teaching. So building relationships. I could not find an adult version of this because we had it, and I want to explain. So Liz Woody, why is it important for a presenter to build a relationship with the faculty? And Liz is going to kind of giggle at this. I want you to talk about it, but Liz is going to giggle about it. Maybe she doesn't know.
Giggle about why it's important?
No, you're going to just giggle about what I'm going to say about it. So why do we think it's important for the presenter to build a relationship with the faculty or whoever you're presenting to?
Because if they take an interest and they build that rapport with you, it goes a long way. If you have somebody come in, leave, they don't really care, it doesn't mean a whole lot. But especially with, when Liz came and the Learning Alliance came, they have that relationship with you and you want to do the things, you want to try it, and they're also there for feedback and support and questions. And that kind of builds that safe space that you can take whatever they're teaching you and really apply it in the classroom.
Creates that buy-in.
So when Liz Woody came to our school for the very first time to do conscious discipline training, and this was exactly what she was trying to do, it took a really long time for this to happen. And we giggle about it here and there, and I don't know if you remember, but it was about, I'm an outsider, I'm coming in, I'm trying to give this presentation. It was the first kind of time that Liz had been to our school to do anything for the whole faculty, right? And so we giggled back and forth. I'm like, yeah, just keep going. We're gonna do this. We got this. And eventually we did. So sometimes it's hard when it's that one quick, like PD, you're gone, right? You don't always get this part of it because it's, not somebody you're used to seeing or not somebody you'll ever see again. But it really is a really important part. And then smaller chunks are more digestible and easier to implement, and each chunk can build on the next until all information is given. And this is just like we do in our classrooms. We have done this over and over. We did it with conscious discipline training at Rosewood. We have also more recently done it with thinking maps training, where the trainer has come in, whether it's once a week or by the month, and we've gotten a small part of it, and then we're able to implement that small part of it. And in the next slide, it's the feedback part, but then to be able to add to it versus sometimes going, to that PD out of state and you go for 8 hours, you never see the people again, you've never talked to the people, and then you're expected to just go and do it. So we have found that at our school, smaller chunks and being able to practice those things and then adding onto it. And time to practice and implement the new information. So many times we're not allowed to do this. Like, we don't feel like we're given the time to do it. Not that we're not allowed, but we're not given the time. So I always ask my teachers, try that in small group instruction. If you're scared to do that, try it in small group instruction. Because if you can't do it for 5 kids, you're not going to do it for 18 kids, right? So let's see how this works with 5. Let's build your confidence, and then let's move on. The other way is MSA. MSA has allowed us so many times over and over to be able to come back and practice with small groups of kids day after day and get a real hold on it before we've brought it back to our classrooms. And the feedback and modeling. The presenter's feedback is essential. How do you know you're doing it with fidelity if the expert never gives feedback? And it helps to watch the expert. So this picture is cut off, but Leslie, you're right here. I think I can see part of you. And she is in Julie Kastenschmidt's class, and I think there were 2 things that had happened. She had done some modeling, but you also see Julie back here with, I'm not sure who that is, but she was, oh. No, I don't think so, but it could be me. But we're giving feedback is what was happening here. It was a foundations lesson. And foundations was implemented at our school a little bit differently than other schools, but Leslie came once a week, and she offered modeling, and sometimes she modeled, but also that feedback was so important. And it's not the feedback of, oh, that was a terrible lesson. It's that very fine line of, this is what we are looking at and this is what we need to improve, and you did that wonderfully. And she did a great job of always doing that for us. And this is Bridget here. And she came and she did a lesson with our students. And, it's watching those people that know what it's supposed to look like, what it's supposed to do. And that's very important for the PD to be successful too. Jean Shedler is what also comes to mind, and that was one of our first experiences with the Learning Alliance as well. And she came and she presented, and then she came back and she watched us and she gave us feedback, and then she would watch us again and give us more feedback. And Wilson was the same way. And those are all of the PDs that really, stick with you, because you are held accountable. You are, I'm going to try this whether I'm nervous or not, and it may be disastrous, but since you've built that relationship with the presenter, you feel comfortable. You're still nervous, right? But you feel comfortable in that feedback that you're going to get, that it's going to be helpful. And so that is what we have found for PD to practice, to be able, that is the most effective, and be able to move our teachers in a direction that is positive.